in the 1800s, I'd send me a dove with wings as sharp as razors to slit the throats of the bloody scabs who cut down poor men's wages. Now that's what you are. You've written yourselves into history as scabs who have always been recording history in this country that have lost. You don't go back into unionised workforces because people don't want you there. People don't want to work with you. Your family don't want to know you. Your brothers will turn on you. Your sisters will turn on you. Your neighbours will turn on you. You've got no one. You got to go back tonight. You got to sleep in your purgatory. You got to sleep where you belong, in a fucking shithole. Where union men used to work and make it a proud workplace, you've turned into something vile until the seat FMEU walks back in that gate and will become a proud workforce again.
People are now seeing that John Howard and Peter Reith are destroying the country, that their attitudes towards industrial relations are not looking for compromises and stability, but disruption and conflict. But it's quite clear that while ever there is huge public support for the workers in their struggle here, that politicians will start to feel the heat and they'll start calling for resolutions to this dispute.
There's heaps of them. Fuck me dead, they're still coming. Fucking Christ. There's a new one, haven't seen that fucking thing before, Fish.
This one?
Hey, how are you, mate?
Good, mate, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Here comes the scared bus. You're a bloody Hydra. Library, that's where you are.
Coal-cutting machinery was fired up for the first time today, triggering a blowout of hostilities. There have been 146 arrests since this dispute reignited 2 weeks ago, following Rio Tinto's takeover of the troubled mine. The CFMEU, the traditional miners' union, has bussed in dozens of supporters, many from interstate. The 18-month battle is far from over, with the union claiming to have international support.
Workers united will never be defeated. Workers united will never be defeated.
Today, rain in central Queensland dampened the prospect of confrontation between union picketers and Gordonstone miners. A far cry from yesterday when 300 protesters locked a busload of Rio Tinto employees into the mine site. Police gave up trying to break the blockade after paddy wagons were filled with 60 arrested protesters prompting calls for more officers on the scene.
We don't want this to continue. We don't want to be stuck here ever again, and we've asked the police to address that.
But the unions also suffered a setback today. The Supreme Court in Rockhampton resisting calls to have bail conditions lifted for those arrested. That means the 146 protesters who've been charged can't go back to the picket line.
Somebody sooner or later is going to ask the question, what is the point of utilising some 80 police and probably 20 backup just to so that Rio Tinto can run a mine in central Queensland?
As I keep saying, this is the only option that we've got left under Peter Reith's industrial laws. You can't get any justice anymore out of the industrial relations system.
Well, what were you doing in September 1997? Princess Diana had just been killed in a car crash. Pat Rafter had won the US Open for the first time, and the huge waterfront dispute hadn't even begun. It might be hard to cast your mind back that far, but more than 300 miners in the Queensland town of Emerald still have vivid memories. In September 1997, they suddenly became unemployed, sacked illegally as it happens by their employer. 20 months later, the fight to win back those jobs is still going on. Their picket line is still in place, and the people of Emerald can be forgiven for thinking the rest of Australia has forgotten them. From central Queensland, Alan Sunderland reports.
Boys, how's it going? Buongiorno!
It's 6 o'clock in the morning and the sun is just starting to come up over the Gordonstone picket line. For the record, this is the start of day number 607, so the routine here is well established. There's time for a coffee while dawn is taking the chill out of the air, and then at precisely 6:45 the morning ritual begins.
Draw the curtain back, you suckers!
Three buses and perhaps a dozen cars drive through the picket line, carrying newly employed workers to the Gordonstone mine. The men who used to have those jobs make their feelings known. Even after 20 months, the resolve of those on the picket line hasn't faltered.
What went on was wrong, and that's why we set the picket line up. We know it's wrong. It's been proven that what happened is wrong.
But in the nearby community of Emerald, where the families of the Gordonstone miners live,